Have you ever wondered how to squeeze out every single bit of performance when playing Assetto Corsa Competizione in VR? Well, so did I. And therefore I created a cunning plan. I decided to try different graphic settings and additionally to try out the NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR settings that are baked into the game now. I thought it would be exciting to set up a race and drive a lap and then change the settings between the laps and that way try to find the best settings. And I did find the best settings for myself, but the footage itself is pretty boring. So I added some kind of a summary at the end, so feel free to skip there. And if you're mad enough to watch the whole thing, I added overly dramatic background music for you to enjoy. So if I helped you anyway with this video, leave a subscribe, and if you like the dramatic music, leave a like as well. Enjoy! Okay, so we are ready to start testing. And we are starting with VR Epic settings. I'm leaving everything into default. And yep, let's start improving our performance. Okay, so mine Ryzen 5800X is ready. I can hear the fans of my 2080 ramping up. We are ready for this ultimate test of performance.
Green light, go, go, go.
Green light, let's go. So it seems our GPU frame times are around 24, 25 milliseconds and CPU... Oh, we are getting past. CPU frame times around 15, 14, 15. Our GPU memory VRAM usage is 7.4. And we are passing some cars somehow. I wonder how I haven't crashed yet. But our frames per second is constantly less than 45. So this is not really ideal for very long-term racing. Low FPS might cause motion sickness very easily. But the picture is sharp though. I'm liking the sharpness of the picture. Okay, we are finishing up the first lap with the epic settings. Let's go to the options. Go to video. Change VR epic to VR high. Apply. Okay, I can see immediate... Oh shit! The clarity is not there anymore. We are not that sharp anymore. I think immediately I can just notice that the frames per second is getting better. So our GPU frame times dropped into 12.5, CPU frame times at 10, 11. Pretty choppy though, still. But we are almost hitting now. Are we at 80, 70 frames per second? So we are good to hit stable 45 frames per second just with these settings. Our GPU memory usage dropped to 5.6 gigabytes. It's gigabytes or gigabits? Gigabytes, I guess. Yeah, byte. It's gigabytes. Don't get distracted. We have the race drive. Okay, so VR high is much nicer experience. Whoa! Well, we are getting closer to 90 frames per second. Let's go back to options, video, and let's see what VR low settings provide us. Oh, okay, and I definitely feel like I would need the glasses right now. Everything is so blurry. I need to try to focus my eyes all the time, but it just things are not getting focused. I guess this is how it must feel if you have a bad eyesight. It seems we're hitting stable 90 frames per second. Our frame times are at 7.4, 7.6. CPU frame time at 4.8, stably under 5. So this would be the ideal situation. This is what you want to have. This is our goal. But hopefully with slightly better clarity. Because this is not really a pleasant experience on my eyes. It's really distracting when I try to focus my eyes to it, but they just never focus. I can see the Pirelli text next to the road just before they pass the frame. It would be nice also to see the distance markers before the turns, so I can hit my braking points easier. So we are low. I don't really want to use this setting. It's too bad of a quality here. So I'm gonna change the settings back to VR Epic, DLSS to enabled, and let's start with quality setting, the highest setting possible. Oh, we got our fast slap immediately. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see. I can see. I feel I got my eyesight back. But also I think we are losing some frames. Our GPU frame times are around 20.4. CPU frame times 13, 14. GPU memory usage 6.5 gigabytes. Our tires are getting warm, perfect. Our frames per second, let's see, we're just about hitting 46, 47.
We are at the halfway mark, still a way to go.
Thank you, crew chief. So with the Epic settings and DLSS quality, we could be having stable 45 frames per second, it seems. Okay, but this is definitely better experience than just using the VR Epic settings. Let's change the DLSS from quality into balanced and let's see what happens. Things are looking a bit more blurry ahead. I think GPU frame times dropped a bit. Oh, that was a bad gear change. Oh no! We have to defend this place. Okay, we good? Okay, GPU frame time 18.5, CPU frame time 11.9. We want to hit those both under 11 milliseconds. If they both go under 11, we should be able to hit a stable 90 frames per second. Okay, 17 for GPU. Frame per second 54. It looks pretty stable actually there. Stable 54. So if we limit the frame rate to 45, we should be good to go. GPU memory is at 6 gigabytes. We are not really catching up with anyone, but also we're not letting anybody pass, so that's good. Okay, time to change our settings. Okay, our next option, performance. Okay, brake. Oh, this was the best performance for this turn so far. Bad line though here. But what is happening with our performance? Okay, I think we are slightly lower. Okay, GPU frame times at 16.5. CPU frame time at, let's say, 11, 13. GPU memory usage at 5.7. And our frames are around 60, slightly higher. Again, we are still able to do 45 frames per second, but we are not at 90. We might be able to get away with using any settings that we can hit the 45 frames per second and then use the motion compensation. That could be something worthwhile to try. But let's see if we, with some settings, we could get up to 90 frames per second. I'm not using my gloves. That's a bad thing. Oh, you hear that? Our lap times are getting better. That's a good sign. Okay, for DLSS, the ultra performance, so the lowest quality of visuals, but the best performance. Where is my gloves? There they are. Got him. If you're gonna drive, you gotta do it properly. Again, I'm not able to focus anywhere because everything seems so blurry. Things really close to the car are fine, but the cars in the distance are just blobs. I can't read any text on the signs on the roads. Okay, but our FPS is at 68, marginally better. Frame time at 14.2. Oh, we are going very wide. CPU frame time at 12, 13. I just saw a flash of 10. Oh, I should not brake there. This is pretty much flat out. Okay, our VRAM usage is at 5.4 gigabytes. Okay, this is way too blurry. Alright, so I think we are learning something here. So the VR low settings was horrible. Now when we have tried all the DLSS settings with VR Epic settings, it seems to me it doesn't really make sense to use the performance or ultra performance. I think that's getting too blurry. I think the sweet spot right now would be on the balanced setting. So let's go and change the settings to VR high. And on the DLSS, the quality and balance settings. Oh, how do I change gears? Okay, I think our frames are really nice right now. This feels really smooth. Really consistent experience. It seems we are getting 73, 75 frames per second. Our GPU frame time is showing 12.4, 12.7. CPU frame time at 11.5, even under 9. Oh shit! That was a bad mistake. We lost one position. VRAM usage at 5.5 gigabytes. I should have put it more. Race time. But not to worry. We're just gonna reset the race and add some more time. Can we squeeze? No. Not making this pass. Alright, let's reset the race and continue testing. Let's go to DLSS balanced mode. Apply and restart the race. We're getting 45, 48 frames per second. Frame time is now at 12.5, 13 for the GPU. CPU frame times are around 11, 12. GPU memory at 6 gigabytes. Oh no! Why do you guys slow so much? Give me room. Okay, we have established our position here. Okay, we're almost hitting 85. We're getting very close to 90 frames per second here, and I'm liking the experience right now. The image is not the sharpest possible. It's sharp enough for me to see, so that it's not distracting, the blurriness. I actually kind of like like this setting right now. We're very close to 90 frames per second. Look at that. It seems we're getting more speed. Whoa. On the main straight, our GPU frame times were at 11 and CPU frame time were at 11 milliseconds. So we are starting to look very nice, very good. We're getting good performance here. So now we have checked all the relevant DLSS settings. So now let's move to test the FSR performance. So here is VR Epic, DLSS disabled, FSR enabled. And let's start with the ultra quality and leave everything else to default. Ooh, things are so sharp now. Yeah, it feels a little bit stuttery. Oh man, but I like the clarity right now. How is our frames? We are almost hitting 45. Almost hitting 45 frames per second. Our GPU frame time showing 22. Yeah, if we go over 22 frames per second, we are not able to hit even to 45 frames per second. Our CPU frame times are at 11, 12, 13 milliseconds. GPU memory usage at 7.3. This is honestly not bad. This is already better experience than just the stock VR Epic settings. This is much more tribal. But we can still improve. So FSR, let's go to quality, one step back. Okay, I don't see a noticeable difference in the picture quality. The picture looks nice and sharp. Our frames per second is at 48, 45. Oh, we are hitting now over 45 frames per second constantly. Our CPU frame time is at 10, 11, 12 milliseconds. GPU memory usage at 6.9. Okay, could we make one pass? Is that too much to ask? FSR quality into balanced. And let's go. Okay, I think it's slightly harder to read the text on the signs or the numbers. But everything seems reasonably good still. Our frames per second increased to 54, 56. GPU frame time 16.8, 17, around 16, 17. CPU frame time at 11.3, 11.5. VRAM usage at 6.4. Things are getting smoother and smoother. I'm liking this. Okay, back at the main straight. Options, video, FSR, performance. I'm losing my sight again. When the cars are close by, it's okay. But when they go like 20 meters, 20, 30 meters too far, things start to get blurry. We are getting 60, even over 70 frames per second. GPU frame time at 13, 14 milliseconds. CPU frame time shows, I see 11, 15. Really choppy. GPU memory usage at 6 gigabytes. Oh, I would love to make a pass here. Okay, that was still, I would say performance was still playable. Let's move into VR High. settings and enable FSR and start with ultra quality. Apply, back and drive. Oh, that was our personal best. Okay, so I like the sharpness again. I have my eyesight back. It's slightly better than the performance on the VR Epic. We're getting 66, 70 frames per second, 78, oh, even hitting 80 frames per second. GPU frame time at 13.3, almost 14. CPU frame time at 12.4, 13. Looking pretty stable. Oh, hitting sometimes under 11. GPU memory usage set 6 gigabytes. This was really nice combination of settings. So we are at VR high and ultra quality. Let's step back to quality and see how that feels. We should get even better frame rates here. I definitely lost my sight again. Things are getting blurry in the distance, but not too much, I would say. If our FPS is getting better, it's totally worth losing that little sharpness over the stable FPS. So how is that looking? We're at 80, 78, 80, we're getting close to 90 even. GPU frame time at 11.5, 12, between 11 and 12 it seems. CPU frame time at 10.4, 11 point something. We're almost we can hit with CPU almost under 11 milliseconds. GPU memory usage at 5.8. Final lap. We have still more testing to do. God damn it. Okay, we are getting very close to 90 frames per second right now. I think this is a good time. We go to garage. Let's restart. FSR balanced. Okay, the clarity. Yeah, things are blurry. Bit blurrier, but I think not too much. I think this is completely still usable, the balanced option. Things are not just blobs, I can still see some detail. Oh, come on. Oh, somebody span. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, frames per second, we are looking at 80. Almost stable 80. GPU frame time, it's 10.2. Looks like we are almost staying under 11 milliseconds. CPU frame times dropped to around 5 milliseconds. Hell yeah. For CPU frame times, this is looking very nice. Somehow we made a drop, like 10 millisecond drop, just with going into balance setting. Our VRAM usage is at 5.7. I'm liking how smooth this is. Not quite making the stable 90, but we are close. We are getting there. I'm not gonna lie, things are blurry ahead, but this is still usable. Maybe here on the front straight, it's a bit too blurry in the distance right now. Maybe I would go up a notch into the performance and then start tweaking things. But look at that, when we are still, we are very close of hitting stable 90. Okay, let's go to performance mode. Can we hit stable 90 now? Oh no, I have lost my sight completely. Everything is a blob. But we are super smooth on the frames. I think now we hit the magical 90 frames per second. Yeah. We are stable 90. Our GPU frame time is set 9.7. Oh, we went so far. Around 9 milliseconds. CPU frame time at 5.2. GPU memory usage at 5.5 gigabytes. This is the smoothness I would want to go for, but the things are too blurry at any point. Wherever I look, things are just blurry, which is not nice feeling. But maybe this is the way to do competitions. If you want to have the maximum performance, this might be the way. Right, that is enough of me blabbering random numbers. So did we learn anything from that? Well, the sweet spot for my setup would be to use the VR high settings and then use DLSS or the FSR. If comparing both of those between each other, I think they are really close in terms of performance, but for me, I prefer the image when using FSR and the balanced setting. With this combination, I'm getting the best performance, which is 90 frames per second, and the image is not too blurry yet. I didn't record it, but I tried also DLSS with performance and ultra performance when using VR high settings, but the image was just too blurry. I could sharpen the image to the same levels as the FSR, but when I used the sharpening feature of the DLSS, the CPU frame times got really choppy, so I didn't really get a boost in performance like that. So as a conclusion, the FSR and DLSS both, they are great upscaling features, and I recommend to try them both to see which will work for you. For me, I will settle down for using FSR with a balanced setting to get through 90 frames per second. Or second option I might try is to use the ultra quality setting with FSR and then put on the motion smoothing and limiting the frames to 45 frames per second. This way I'm getting slightly sharper image, only 45 frames, but with the help of motion smoothing, it feels the same as the 90 frames per second. Only minus I would say is that I get a bit of ghosting. I'm not sure if that will show in the recording, but when there is fast moving background and stationary object on the foreground, the outline of the stationary object is leaving trails behind that might be distracting. So there we go. So leave a comment if you would like to see me testing some different driving game, and leave that like if I helped you out at all. See you later.